What a lovely sunny welcome to all of you watching at home. So today, myself, Greg X Emerald, are going to give you a bit of a virtual walk round and a digital guided tour of our new arrival, this 2016 low owner, low mileage Audi S3. So you can see first off, it's finished in solid Ibis white, a really nice contrast colour. A lot of people now go for metallics and pearlescents, but a solid white just looks really nice and really cool on this car itself. So the S3, what can I tell you about it? Before we get in, it's Audi's hot hatch that sits just below the level of the RS3. Of course, it's a natural rival to its German and international counterparts, the Golf R, the Golf GTI, the BMW M135i and the Focus ST. This one has quite a good spec to ensure that it remains ever popular and ever present when you're looking to buy a hot hatch. So starting off from the front here, we've got the xenon headlights with the LED daytime running lights, and you've also got headlight washers just there. You've got your titanium grey matte and chrome effect front grille, and you've got some of the sports styling with a honeycomb grille here where your fog light would usually be, and just a nicer sports front bumper. Moving round here, you've got the 18-inch 5 twin spoke star design diamond cut alloys and the black S3 brake caliper peeping through just behind. Moving on up, you've got an abundance of chrome and silver here, starting off on the mirror caps, moving around onto the window surrounds, and you have got slightly tinted privacy glass, but not a lot. The chrome works really nicely there alongside the gloss black door pillars. You've also got the chrome grille, as we've mentioned, window surround, and the mirror covers, in addition to the badges themselves. And down here, you've got the chrome effect rear diffuser alongside the quad exhaust system. So sports styling on this is quite prevalent, if I'm honest. You've got the front bumper, you've got the rear diffuser, you've got the quad exhaust, and you've also got some really nice tasty side skirts just here. Just gives that car a more aggressive stance on the road, gives it a more sporty presence. Working alongside that, you've also got the sports suspension, which gives it a little bit of a lower ride height, and it handles a little bit better in the corners. So finishing that off, you've got the rear spoiler and the shark fin aerial antenna just there. So this also has Quattro 4-wheel drive, which you'll all know is Audi's patented 4-wheel drive system, which ensures stability in all conditions and on all terrain. So if you do want to give it some chat going around the corner, or just fire it straight in a line, you can do so without worrying. This can be turned off, but I would recommend, if you're buying an Audi with Quattro, you just enjoy it. So that's the exterior. What we'll do now, we'll take you on to the interior. On the inside of the Audi S3, it's just as pleasant a place to look at as it is on the exterior. Starting off here, you've got the S-embossed black nappa leather with a contrast rock grey stitching just along the edges of the seats here and the outer lining. Moving on to the all-important part, the steering wheel. Now, a lot of Audi people get quite vexed when they buy an Audi or they come to look at an Audi and they haven't specified it with a flat bottom half perforated leather wheel. Now, if you're into your cars and you're an enthusiast, or a sado as I get called, you will understand that a flat bottom wheel, ideally with half perforated leather, is essential. It just gives you as a driver that added sporty feel, if that's correct. It just makes you connect with that car a bit more. It makes your cabin and cockpit look all that little bit more enticing. It just really does finish it off. The steering wheel itself is obviously multifunction. You have voice control, you have your telephone, you have your sat nav, you have your drive select mode, volume, menu, cross menus here, the left and right, and that controls your center console and your button that clicks in to select OK upon that menu. Here you've also got paddle shift, which is obviously there for optimum driving performance, effortless gear changes, and if you are deciding you want to take it down a drag strip for argument's sake, you can use that instead of trying to use the box and you'll get a sharper response. You've also down here got your cruise control, automatic light settings and contrast on the instrument cluster, door locking facility, and you have electric heated mirrors and electric windows all round, and lastly you have child lock. Now what else can I tell you? Well, around here you also have your famed DSG or S-Tronic gearbox. Now this is obviously a VAG car, so they share almost the same gearbox. As most of you will be aware, the DSG is the best automatic gearbox this side of 50 grand. Other than that, you're looking at a Porsche PDK, but this isn't a Porsche and it's not meant to be. The DSG box is great. It's really reliable so long as you've had the Haldex services done. It's great for tuning and you've got endless potential on that front. Short, sharp, effortless gear changes are just a thing that comes naturally to this Audi. It's just a really lovely place to be. So obviously what you do have, you have park, reverse, neutral, drive and sport. So if you take your gearbox and you knock it to the left, which I'll demonstrate shortly, that will put it into sport mode. That will give you a higher rev ratio, a bit better throttle response, and the car will just automatically feel that bit sportier. Here you have your volume control, and here you have what BMW call their iDrive system, or Audi's MMI. That works in addition to the sat-nav, and it controls all the menus on the pop-up screen, which I'll show you shortly. And here you have your electronic parking brake. Now, just above that, you have your climate control, which is automatic dual zone, and you also have heated front seats. Here you have drive select, you have the ability to turn your screen on or off, you have your traction control, hazard warning and automatic stop start. And a nice little reminder here that you're in a car that has 4-wheel drive. So, the Audi, let's take a look. Instrument cluster, really nice. The grey on red and white really does go quite nicely. It's easy to see, it's not too hard on the eye, and it's quite a cool contrast and font that they've gone for. Something a little bit edgy. Again, Audi's design team, they've proven time and time again that they know what they're doing. So if we just turn that music down, the buttons on the wheel, as you can see here, DAB, you have your telephone, you have your map, but that isn't virtual cockpit, and you have your speed. You also have other options if you wish to go into, which you can change here, such as lap timer, digital speedometer, efficiency and onboard computer. Sat nav, don't worry, it's not broken. On most Audis and German cars, it's a feature that for some reason, as soon as you put your phone on, it looks as if it's moving, but in fact it isn't. If I can just show you. I do apologise, I know it's not great. So, on here, let's have a look. We've got navigation, telephone, radio and media. That is Bluetooth streaming. I dare say you could get Apple CarPlay retrofitted to this as well, if you desired. So on the menu itself, I do apologise, I can't stop that. I'll be quick. You've got your settings in which you can change a lot of different things. Lights, reminder tips, usage tips, date and time, measurement unit, factory settings, voice control, all sorts. Next up, smartphone, which you would need the smartphone app to connect. Audi Connect, which will give you all vital updates that you would need. Map, goes without saying. Navigation, just shows you how easy it is to do your desired destination, but because of the completely weird thing that all modern cars and phones don't connect, it drives me mad. You've got media there, which could be a CD, could be USB, could be an SD card, whichever you desired. Bluetooth streaming, radio, DAB, FM, AM. You've got your sound, and of course you've got your car here where you can choose your drive select modes. So all in all, aside from what I haven't mentioned, the brushed aluminium trim just on the inlays, it is a really nice, really comfortable car. It's suitable for all the family, and it's good to have as a weekend toy or a daily driver. You're probably going to get low 20s, mid 20s if you drive it properly. The S3 is Audi's hot hatchback, and now I'm just going to demonstrate the reasons as to why you would potentially choose this over its German and international counterparts, the Golf R, the Golf GTI, the Focus ST and other hot hatchbacks. So to start with, from a driver's perspective, the interior and the cabin is a really, really nice, luxurious, spacious, just a really nice place to be. As you can tell now, I've got the height adjustable seats, and it's just nice. Everything is where it should be. The aluminium brushed inlays really do stand out in this car against the black. It's a nice addition. It makes it look that little bit more stylish than a lot of cars. When they try and do a sporty car, they go mad with carbon fibre, they go mad with other little bits and bobs, and it's actually quite pointless. It doesn't really have any effect. But the important thing, the driving. So your wheel, small, flat bottom, half perforated leather, really nice and comfortable. Again, as I said earlier, it gives you that real nice sporty feel, but it really does feel like you're connected to the road, feels like you're gripped. The power assisted steering as well is obvious from the moment you start driving. It's a nice addition. It just makes everything that little bit more simple. The DSG box, as I'll demonstrate very shortly, delivers a really efficient smooth gear change, whether you flip it into sport mode like that when you put it to the left, or you keep it there, or you use your paddle shifts here. It really is a nice car to drive. The sat nav, again, as I like to say quite often, it's low contrast, it's high resolution, but it's really comfortable on your eyes. It's not distracting as a driver, doesn't put you off, it's not in the way. It's just nice. It's the right size, it's the right levels of detail, and it's a good unit. Climate control, something that you definitely need in weather like this. You do have the option to set it manually, or you can of course do auto. Today I'm going to do it on low, and I'm going to turn it down a bit because I'm red hot. So we'll go around the island here. You can see no knocks on the suspension. We'll do a full circle. No knocks, no clunks, no problems at all with the steering. Just a nice, easy drive. The car itself from the inside is quite quiet. The dual exhaust can look a bit daunting to some people who would feel that it gives you a really loud note in the car, but it really doesn't. It's nice, smooth. It's quite actually a nice, refined place to be. So if I let go of the wheel, if I get onto the straight, you can see no pulling to either the left or right. True straight lines, no problem with tracking, and no mechanical issues. This will of course have been checked in our 128 point check, on which we do to every single vehicle, whether it's £100 or 100 grand. We are a dealership that pride ourselves on the customer experience, and ensuring that our vehicles are fit for purpose is the first port of call. So the car itself, if I wanted to knock it into sport mode, I can do that. And that now is in manual mode. If I knock it down again, I can put it into sport, and that gives you an uprated throttle response. It gives you a little bit more in easy speak, just a little bit more in general from the power steering, and it gives you a higher rev ratio, and it also makes your car that little bit quicker. So the features on the car, obviously everything is where it should be. Everything is near, everything is to hand. You have your drive select mode here, in which you can choose from efficiency, comfort, auto, or dynamic. So dynamic is basically the sports mode on an Audi S3. You are able to have a fifth option of individual, and that will allow you to change the way your steering feels, your drivetrain, your engine. You can basically customize it to how you want. So you can have not so firm suspension, you can have quicker engine, and you can have nice comfortable journeys. Dynamic is more about just the thrill of driving and the sport. Efficiency is everything you would expect from the name. It's efficient driving, which gives you an increased fuel consumption and basically stops you going to the garage every 5 minutes. You can also change drive select from on the button here. So what else have we got? Comfort mode, everything is set to soft, everything is set to luxurious. You can enjoy your drive with a little bit of speed, but you don't feel the dampeners really bumping over those bumps or as Britain would do, potholes everywhere. What else have we got? Auto. Basically, your car will set itself and configure to the substrate and the terrain that you are on. Dynamic mode, in easy speak, it's sport mode. Everything is stiffened up, everything is a little bit more responsive, and everything feels that little bit tighter and a little bit firmer. If you buy an S3, I can't argue, you're probably going to use that mode more than any other, because people buy S3s because they're fast. And lastly, you've got individual. Individual will allow you to change your setup yourself. So what you can change on there, your engine and your gearbox, your steering, your Quattro diff, which is your four-wheel drive, and of course your engine sound. All of those at the moment are in dynamic, but that again is because I'm a bit of a petrol head and I enjoy the sound of the car. So we'll take it up now onto a 70 road and just show you that there's no wheel wobble at a motorway speed or anything of that nature. So we're currently in S mode, so that is the sports mode on the gearbox. So it allows the car to pick up quite nicely. Now of course you don't have to drive it with that, with the DSG farts, which a lot of people like. You can put it in a normal mode, again the comfort mode with a normal gearbox, and it'll just deliver effortless smooth power just the same. So we're currently at 70 miles an hour, and if I just get onto the straight, and there you go, currently sitting at 70, still no pulling to the left or right, and no wheel wobble. The brakes will slowly brake in just a moment at the island, and we'll just further demonstrate that you won't need to be concerned about wheel judder, about any delay in braking, any judder or anything of that nature. Our technicians at Emerald are all fully trained with plenty of years of experience in both performance cars and the automotive trade. Now we're at the island, there we go, we're at 40, 30, 20 and a stationary stop. So there you can tell that there was no judder or no concerns with braking. So I'll knock it down now into normal mode, and we can turn the wheel just here, and we'll put it back now into efficient mode. And I don't know if you'll be able to tell on the camera, but the engine note now has vastly died down. It's not as loud inside, and now you have the perfect car for long commutes in luxurious surroundings. You've got Bluetooth, you've got media streaming, you've got Audi Connect. You could probably get Apple CarPlay retrofitted, as I've stated earlier. I mean, this car really does have everything that you would want. You've got voice control that you can operate if you needed to, which will probably start talking to me very shortly. But, you know, I mean, the main thing is you've got everything on a car that you would wish to have. Comfort, luxurious, refined, four-wheel drive. This Audi can deliver on any terrain, in any condition, and it's really a great car for the value. If you consider a Focus ST, the money that you would pay for that, for example, would be similar to this, but you don't get the same driver convenience, you don't get the features inside, you don't get the heated leather seats. It's just not as good a value for money. The interior looks cheaper. I mean, for me, it just ticks every box. It's a fantastic all-rounder. The only thing that betters this in Audi's range, obviously in a hatchback, is of course the RS3. But if you're going to buy an RS3, you wouldn't look at these originally because you've got the extra money to spare. But if you're after a performance car that is able to deliver in all aspects, then I don't think there's a much better choice than the Audi S3. Yes, the Golf R is a very good car. The Golf R, I'm a big lover of those myself, but this is every bit as good, as reliable, as practical, and most importantly, as well built as a Golf R. If you're a tuner and you're into modifying cars, as I am, these have got huge potential, both engine, gearbox maps, tuning options. You can get body styling modifications, you can get nice Alcantara wheels if this one didn't do it for you. I mean, you're buying an investment. These are sure to be a modern classic in in future years, probably not that long in, to be honest, the way everything's going now with the electric, these are going to be a great place to start with your first performance car and your first real big investment. Well, we hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you are interested in this car or anything else we have in stock, please contact one of the award-winning team today at Emerald House of Cars. There is a reason that we are probably the best car dealership in the UK, but to find out, you're going to have to experience it for yourself. Thank you very much, and we'll see you soon.